Hello, my fellow Cowboys fans, and welcome to this edition of Cowboys Imperial Report. On today's show, we'll be talking with Coach about the dreaded Redskins. Be here. Are you looking for more Dallas Cowboys talk?
This is Smitty.
If so, Smitty dares you to watch his CNS Cowboys report. Smitty provides erudite analysis.
You got beat outside, you got beat inside, you got beat upside down. One side to the other, you got beat.
His jokes are unparalleled and uproarious.
The good, Tony Romo, despite what a lot of people are thinking, played a pretty good game. Big problem? He spent more time on his back than a Times Square hooker.
On Smitty's CNS Cowboys report, you'll see things that you've never seen before.
I saw a first. I have never, and I mean ever, seen an illegal block in the back thrown on a kicking team. I'm not even sure that's possible.
Smitty provides solutions that can be carried over into the real world, like conflict resolution.
You guys are entertaining. Go at each other. Personally, I think you both had something a little better to do with your time. Say Giants Pride, you got the Eagles coming up.
Dealing with an unproductive employee.
You know, Jerry, you want to know how to fire somebody? You don't know how to do it? Watch this. Hey, Tim! It's my lighting director, Tim. You're fired! You're fired! Now get out of here!
Smitty's CNS Cowboys report is so safe for children that I recommend my nephews and nieces watch every show.
I usually like to keep a G-rated show because,
Get out of the football news dark ages. Watch Smitty's CNS Cowboys report and subscribe to his channel today.
I'll give you some time.
Welcome to Cowboys Imperial Report, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Howdy, how's it going today?
Who knows? I'll know after the show. How important is this game for both clubs?
Well, the old saying goes something like every game in the NFL counts. I do believe that this game is important for both teams. For them, they can further themselves from us and the Eagles for second place in the division. And not to mention, I have to listen to the crap from the Skins fans I work with. For us, it helps us get moving in the right direction. Hopefully this can start us on a winning roll towards postseason ourselves. We get our confidence up. We beat a divisional opponent. And if we happen to lose, there's not really any cavalry left to come save us, so that mentality's kind of gone. We also have 5 of the same teams on each of our schedules over the last 6 weeks.
Oh, really? Well, who are those teams?
That would be San Fran, Seattle, the Giants, Baltimore, and Philly. The other game for us is Pittsburgh, and for them it's Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is definitely the better of the two of those, so that would make our road a little harder. We're also already behind them in the division, so this game is more important for us. We need a win.
Will Tony Romo really make that much of a difference?
Put it simply, yes. It being in makes the offense better overall for many reasons. One of which is that we can now call any play in the playbook. And now they have to be prepared for that, as opposed to the limited playbook that we've had at our disposal over the last few weeks. And finally, if he's able to sustain drives like he has in the past, get some time possession, and keep our D off the field, keep them fresh when the Skins do have the ball, and stop them. And not to mention, even though he is probably good for one turnover a game, it's still better than we have been doing.
Satanic Moss torched us when we had Pac-Man and Tino. What's going to change this time?
Well, first off, Tino should be 100% healthy this go around. And I don't believe he was last time. That should help for no other reason than he should be able to run better. Injuries can easily limit even the best of players. As for no Pac-Man, I personally felt he was kind of overrated when he was here, and he never did rock all that so-called rust off of him. So having the 2 rooks back there, Scandrick and Jenkins, I think can do just as good a job, if not better than he did. Plus, I think they're young and hungry. And I'm forgetting about / forgiving the Jenkins non-tackle. I'm hoping it was just a rookie mistake and he won't let it happen again. Another thing on that is we have now seen a version of the West Coast offense firsthand, as well as more on film than the first go-around. So we should be, and I stress should be, better prepared.
Did you hear the one where Zorn canceled practice last week and the player, Jason Campbell, went to Disney World? How's that going to affect the Redskins this week?
I did not hear that. I know that Chris Cooley did go to Florida. He went to Miami. So their guys are, out there as well. No, I don't think so. The teams are going 10 weeks to play, into a 15-week of play season. And if they are able to be ready to go as professionals after a usual full week of practice this week, regardless of what happened the previous week, maybe they need to find a new profession.
All right, Coach. What's the final score going to be in this one?
Well, I will say that the game will come down to the line play on both sides of the ball, and of course not beating ourselves with turnovers and penalties. I'll go out on a limb and say that we're going to do enough to get a win. It's going to be 27-24, Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you for being on Cowboys Imperial Report, Coach.
Hey, thank you. It's been a pleasure. And
okay, that was nice to hear from Coach, but let's get to the head. Oh, how do you like this? Here's a story about Roger Staubach, also about Calvin Watkins with the pinky thing. What did Staubach say? Let the pinky heal. What? I would have expected him to be like everyone else and call Tony Romo an infidel and a wuss. Well, what's he saying here? Having Tony get it healed is the right thing? What? Oh, how can that be? This is the wrong article. Romo's a wuss. Yeah, that's because of the pinky. Play through it like a man. Be a man and play through it. But let's get away from the news. Honestly, all this news here that I just read to you is garbage when it comes to Cowboys and Redskins. It's trash. We're looking at a rivalry where a team full of replacements in the Washington Redskins beat the Dallas Cowboys with Danny White, Randy White, Tony Dorsett on Monday Night Football in Texas Stadium. We're looking at a rivalry where a winless team achieved their only win in '89 against the Redskins. The Cowboys did that to the Redskins to knock them out of the play. Well, it hurt their playoff chances. That's the kind of rivalry that we're dealing with. And this game, Sunday night, reminds me of 1991. This is a good book, by the way, Redskins fans. This is a good book. Cowboys fans, this is a good book. It's America's Rivalry, the 20 Greatest Redskins-Cowboys Games. It goes up to about 96, but it is still a very good book. And I'm going to read some passages that will illustrate my prediction. Now, you'll have to remember, in 1991, the Redskins were on their way to an undefeated season until their Week 12 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. They were coming in 11-0. The Cowboys were 6-5, coming off of a loss against the Houston Oilers in overtime, 26-23. We were at 6-5, and things looked bleak. Jimmy Johnson didn't know if we were going to make the playoffs or not, despite his prediction at the beginning of the 91 season. He realized that his team had to find a spark. They had to do something to get on a roll. And Jimmy Johnson he said everything was stacked against us, and I had to do something to at least give our guys the thought we had a chance to win the ball game. If I approached it as a normal game, in the back of their minds they would have said, hey, we're not good enough to beat them. So this is where that famous quote of Jimmy Johnson's of, don't ever hit a man lightly, always carry a big stick. That's, the gorilla quote. That is from where this game, that analogy came from. And that is what the Dallas Cowboys did. They ran a Hail Mary play at the end of the first half to score a touchdown. They ran a sneak onside kick, and this was a Sunday night affair on ESPN. And the Cowboys won 24-21. Unfortunately, Steve Beuerlein had to fill in for an injured Troy Aikman to complete the game. But we went on a 5-game winning streak into the playoffs to win our first playoff game in over 82 in about 9-10 years. That is what the Dallas Cowboys are facing this Sunday night. The guy with the glasses, the giant hick, he talked about how last game would end our season. Well, okay. This game will either make or break the Dallas Cowboys season. And the articles that I read with Cricket Anderson, with some of the talk that I have been reading, these Cowboys understand how critical this game is. That is why I'm going to predict a 27-20 Dallas Cowboys victory. And let me tell you something. The last time the Cowboys won in FedEx Field was week 3 of 2004 on a Monday night. You know who was calling the game? Al Michaels and John Madden. Up there in FedEx Field, guess who's calling the game? You see what I'm talking about? God save the Cowboys.